I've had such a good day today. Such a good day. I did my podcast interview with Nadia, my yoga teacher and massage queen, in person. I need to do more podcasts in person. Like, it was so relaxing and enjoyable. Just felt like two girls like kikiing. And I feel like as well, it opened up a space to like let the guest feel more vulnerable and more seen. And I think that that always is going to make for a good episode. So noting that, I still have to edit the podcast. Well, not fully edit it, just finish the edit on the podcast that's going out tomorrow. So I kind of need to save my brain cells. I have actually like a lot of things kind of going on in my mind, but like I said, I've only got a limited amount and I would like to make this edit as best as it could possibly be. But I wanted to talk about my July reads, like the things that I read in July and what I've got on my TBR for August, because we need to discuss. I have some opinions about some books that everyone thinks is so great and turns out trash, garbage, in my opinion. But before we do that, I got my nails done today. Can you see these? It's giving gothic witch. Yeah, just one more time, because I am obsessed. There's like little diamantes on there as well as the art. My nail girl, Sarah, fucking kills it every time. I'm obsessed with these nails. Okay, let's get into these books. So I actually technically only read 2 books, but I'm going to count it as 3 last month. And I'm angry. I'm angry about that because the last book I read took me 3 weeks. It's just not. No. So let's look at July. For context, I read everything on a Kindle. And if you are looking for good book recommendations, like you've come to the right place. I talk about my books. I give like a little review on Instagram as I read them in real time. If you go to the highlight reel that says books, you will be able to see that. But there's some stuff that some of these authors are doing that I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Also coming from someone who is not a writer and knows nothing about writing. I'd love to write a book one day, but I don't think I would ever write fiction. So let's have a look-see, shall we? July reads. So I read The Hawthorne Legacy, Fourth Wing, and Iron Flame. Let's talk about this. So Hawthorne Legacy is a YA mystery series. I picked up the first book in that series, The Inheritance Games. Read that, loved it. It was actually like kind of cute, a little palate cleanser, but it was a series. And so I was like, okay, I need to know more. So I continued to read the Hawthorne Legacy. And by the time I finished that, my palate was cleansed. And that's when I started reading Fourth Wing. Now, actually, let me just backtrack. So the Hawthorne Legacy, really, really good. Better than book 1. If you like YA, but if you are a lover of thrillers, but you kind of want something that's still going to give you that puzzly energy, but you don't want to like go deep and you don't want it to like rock your nervous system, I would say the Inheritance Game series is a really, really good one. I did not think I would be into YA. I need adult themes. I think that this book would be an incredible adult fiction book if the characters were like in their 30s or like late 20s, early 30s. I think it would be incredible. There could have been some spice, but it's teenagers, so obviously not. I think I rated this book like 4 stars, and I rated the Inheritance Game, the first book, 3 stars. And 3 stars to me is not bad. Like 3 stars is like, it was good. Nothing amazing to write home about, nothing horrific. So the fact that I rated the Hawthorne Legacy 4 stars is saying that the series is good. Now, then I went on to read Fourth Wing. If you've been with me, you know Fourth Wing was my first ever fantasy book I've ever read. I've never even read Harry Potter. I've obviously watched the movies. I think I read like the first and second book when I was younger, but I wasn't much of a reader when I was younger. So everyone has been telling me that I needed to get into fantasy. Everyone was like, you're a witch. How do you not read fantasy? And it was originally like the lore of it all that I couldn't quite get behind. I don't love the idea of reading a series of books that are like 600 to 700 pages each. Like, does it really need to be that long? And when it comes to Fourth Wing, yes. Fourth Wing was an incredible book. I loved the main character. If you are somebody who likes the idea of getting lost in a world, but you don't want to read about like fictional beings, Fourth Wing's really good because it really is just humans with dragons. There's a little bit of lore, so it feels like you're, playing that fantasy game, but you're not having to like, it's not like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, where you're like, wait. I need to know the ancestry line to understand this. Like, it's really, really great. Now, I am looking for a series that I can like be one of those bitches for. Like, I'm looking for a fantasy series that I can become a Potterhead of. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be the Zodiac Academy because astrology. But I know that if I start that, I'm not the type of person who can go from like reading a couple of like one book in a series and then, go off and read others and then come back. I know that if I do that, I'm going to be dedicating like a couple months of my life to really getting into the whole series and binging the whole series all in one. So Fourth Wing was an incredible introduction to fantasy. Highly, highly recommend. I rated it 5 stars. The pacing was amazing. The writing was amazing. I forgot that it was a romantasy because I don't like romance. It's not really my vibe. I think I've lived out enough romantasies in reality. I don't want to live them out within the books that I'm reading as a predominant thing. I don't mind like a side interest, a little tension happening here and there, a little bit of smut. Love it. And that's what Fourth Wing was. It was really driven by the plot of becoming a dragon rider, right? And the school and, grief and death and all of these really kind of like bigger topics and themes. And then obviously there's a romance that's happening. But you're kind of like, oh, who is she going to go with? Like, there's relationships that are happening. She's forming a really strong bond with a new best friend. She's forming a sexual and sensual and romantic relationship with a man. There's a relationship that degrades. It's that there's depth to the relationship part of the plot, right? Loved Fourth Wing. Rated it 5 stars. Literally finished it, I think within 6 days, devoured it. And as soon as it finished, downloaded Iron Flame and began reading again. I thought the twist at the end was incredible. Like, did not see it coming. I was all about it. Iron Flame, however. Iron Flame, I am rating 2 stars. you have to read it because there's a third, and I am not a TBR. I'm not a DNFer. I always finish books, even if they are dragging and dragging and dragging. Iron Flame dragged me 3 whole fucking weeks. Let me just repeat that. I finished Fourth Wing in 6 days. It took me 3 weeks to finish Iron Flame. I felt like I was reading the same amount, and dedicating the same amount of time to reading. I think it was just so slow. Also, I did not listen to any of Fourth Wing. I read it, and I read it in 6 days. Iron Flame, I reckon I listened to 40% of it because I just wanted it to be over. It's almost like nothing happened and too much happened. Like, I couldn't recall the events to you because I'm not even quite sure what happened. There's so much that's going on. And again, so much lore, but no context of the lore. Or it's like asking you to sort of like read between the lines. It was just not very good. It was too much happening. It was too many battle scenes. The smut scenes felt like they were input there so that you kept reading, like gave you a break from the boringness or the repetitiveness, or I don't even know. It was just gave you a little bit of excitement so that you would just keep reading and get through. The twist was not that good of a twist. It didn't make me emotional. I was emotional reading Fourth Wing. I was not emotional reading Iron Flame. Am I excited for, oh my God, what's the other book? Onyx something. The third book is coming out in I think January. Will I be reading it? Absolutely. Because now I'm like into this, but I can't believe how bad Iron Flame was. And I can't even tell you specifically why. I think it's the fact that it felt like there was so much happening and nothing happening. It's like I was getting whiplash for no reason. Like I was just being shaken for the sake of it. So I'm excited that I'm done with Fourth Wing for a bit. And I wanted to share with you my TBRs for the month because I want more fantasy for sure, but I am really, really, really wanting to get back to my thrillers. And also I think I need a palate cleanser. I need a palate cleanser after Fourth Wing. So I have the Final Gambit and the Brothers Hawthorne, which are the 2 next books in the Inheritance Game series. I want to just be able to like do some quick reads, get some books under my belt. So I'm thinking I might do those first. Then I'm going to read Blake Crouch's Dark Matter. I have seen this everywhere. I've been wanting to read it, but Dan and I are both going to be reading it at the same time in our little family book club. So yeah, I'm excited to read that. It's like a sci-fi thriller. And I've never read a sci-fi thriller. Apparently some people say that the TV show that they adapted from this book is amazing. Other people say that it's trash, but the people that say that it's trash is the people who are saying that it's trash in comparison to the book, which makes me feel really excited to read it. I think I'm going to try and read It Ends With Us. Again, is that a romance? If that's a romance, I'm not doing it. But like the movie's out, but apparently the movie, like they've aged everybody up. Like, and aren't we all angry at Colleen Hoover as well? I'm not sure why we're angry at her, by the way. So if someone could enlighten me, that would be great. And then I randomly found this book at the bookstore and it just keeps playing on my mind. It's called The Witch Haven. It is not that highly rated. Like, it's not that it's not highly rated. It's still 4 stars, but it only has like 941 reviews on Goodreads. Or maybe that's on Amazon, I'm not sure. But I just read the back and I was kind of like, this is the kind of fantasy that I feel like I could get into. And I feel like I could be possibly uncovering an amazing book that no one's really talking about. And that makes my Aquarius in the 3rd house feel very, very turned on. So this is what it says, what the synopsis is. So in 1911, New York City, 17-year-old Frances Hallowell spends her days as a seamstress, mourning the mysterious death of her brother months prior. Everything changes when she's attacked and a man ends up dead at her feet, her scissors in his neck, and she can't explain how they got there. Before she can be condemned as a murderess, 2 cape-wearing nurses arrive to inform her that she is deathly ill and ordered to report to Haxhaven Sanitarium. But Frances finds Haxhaven isn't a sanitarium at all. It's a school for witches. Within Haxhaven's glittering walls, Frances finds the sisterhood she craves, but the headmistress warns Frances that magic is dangerous. Frances has no interest in the small, safe magic of her school and is instead enchanted by Finn, a boy with magic himself, who appears in her dreams and tells her he can teach her all she's been craving to learn. Lessons that may bring her closer to discovering what truly happened to her brother. Frances's newfound power attracts the attention of the leader of an ancient order who yearns for magical control, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we understand. I don't even want to read anymore because I'm like, don't tell me. I just want to find out. I'm sorry. A murder that turns into a fantasy where it's about women and witches and it's set in New York in the early 20th century. Early 20th century. That's everything. That is everything to me. So I don't know. If that sounds like it's a vibe to you, let's read it together. There's also another book in the series called The Witch Haven. I don't know if there's more coming out, but I love that it's like a little, just a 2-book saga. And I'm really excited about it. Like, I think it could have legs. So that's what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm going to be doing for this month. Let me know down in the comments what's on your TBR for this month. If you were going to pick up any of these, I would love to know if this has inspired you to pick one up. We are really hitting the longest daily yap that we have ever done before. So I'm going to peace the fuck out and let's chit chat down there. Please, come on. I want to talk about books. Okay, rock on.